Today I am going to make some pork tenderloin bits with honey and garlic. I like this idea because it's in bite-sized pieces and it comes out just absolutely delicious. I use the same technique when I'm cutting up a chicken breast, which is another way of eating chicken. I'm going to probably put this on top of one of my stir fries, which I make a large pot of it, and then I just have to scoop it out. I can fancy it up with a couple other things like some mushrooms, buttered mushrooms or walnuts or whatever. And then I add these cut up bits when I cook them, and they just come up absolutely delicious. So this is how you make it. I put them in a pot, as you can see. I put them in a pot, cut up. I'm not going to show you how to cut them up. Everybody knows how to cut it up. And then we're going to add. Now, how much do you add? I just have enough. Here's some garlic powder. And I'm just going to put it in there all around, so all the meat, you want to cover it, you know, just enough. That's enough. And there's your garlic powder. This is how I do it. Now I'm going to put this onion powder on there too. Why not? And I powder it all around the top of the surface. Then I'm going to put paprika, and I do the same thing, as you can see. All I'm doing is dusting it all over the meat, these cut up pieces of meat. It's about, I start off at about 3/4 of an inch when I cut them up. There's my paprika. And now I'm going to add some black pepper. You could put, you know, and I'm just going to add this pepper. Pepper, you always want pepper in there. Salt and pepper goes in everything. I'm just watching it so it covers everything. And that looks good enough. And I use kosher salt. I pretty much use kosher salt on pretty much, it's a little fine, this one, so I have to be careful I don't put too much salt in there. There you go. That's enough for me. My blood pressure is high enough. Okay. Now the next thing you got to do is mix it up. So I put my hand in here. I have large hands because I'm a big guy. And I just squish it all together. And you notice how all the powder, everything is just disappearing in the meat. Now I could wear a glove for this. My hands I know are clean and I'm making it for myself, so it really doesn't matter. You know, if I was making it, you know, with a bunch of people here, I'd put gloves on. You know, I want to give them that, you know, make sure it looks sanitary. It is sanitary, believe me. I wash my hands really good. I don't want to get sick myself. Plus, I'm going to cook this meat. Now, that's probably good enough. Look at that. I could let it sit for a little bit. It's going to take me a little while to heat up the fry pan. I use an iron pan, but you can use any kind of a pan. Now, here's the pan right here. Now, I put some canola oil in there. I just put it in the middle, you know, about this much around, and then I just take the pan and I swirl it around so the whole bottom is covered with oil. Now this isn't heated yet, so I will stop my camera and I'll put it in when it's heated. Now, anytime I fry something like this, all right, or I should say saute, which is a fancier word for fry, I put a screen on it. I put one of these metal screens. And just in case some of the oil shoots up, I don't want it to dirty my grill. You can always pick these up if you never had one. You can just order it on Amazon. They're really handy. They come in this size and a larger size. And I use them all the time. Even when I put in the oven, you know, it makes cleanup work a lot easier. Alexa, set a time for 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Starting now.
Now the reason I said 4 minutes is because I really want to set it for 5 minutes, but moving everything around, it took me about a minute while it was cooking. And then when I turn it over, I'm going to do 5 minutes on the other side. Okay, Alexa's telling me that the meat is finished cooking, and here it is.
Can you say it again?
No. Be quiet, Alexa. Alexa, be quiet. she listens, but sometimes she's a woman, so, well, never mind. I don't want to get into that. I'm just shoveling these off, and I'm throwing them in back in the mixing bowl. Okay, back in the mixing bowl. And then we're going to add some more ingredients. And this time, these ingredients, we're only going to cook them. We're only going to cook them for 2 more minutes once they're in the pan. So I think I'll start off with the soy sauce. Here's some soy sauce. And I just put enough, so enough to go around. Wow, that's hot. I'm going to lower the temperature just a little bit. And then I'm going to put some butter. You don't want butter melts, and you don't want that to burn, so I just swirl it around like this. It's a nice way of adding butter. That's enough, I think, for the meat. Probably close to a tablespoon. And then I should add the garlic. I'm just using this jar garlic. It's handy, I really like it. It saves a lot of work. There's nothing like fresh garlic, but this is just as good, actually. I put about a tablespoon in there. It's a real tablespoon, not a measuring spoon, but that's what I do. Okay, and then I'm going to move it around a little bit. You want it to cook evenly. We're also going to cook that meat real nice. And I have some honey, and I'm going to get that. Just a second here, I got to go get that honey. This is old honey, it's been in there for a long time, so I'm just going to shovel it out. It's not going to come out that easy, so it's the reason I, kind of clogged in there. But it's still good. Honey lasts a long time. There you go. Nice honey. Very nice. And now the only thing you want to do now, all the ingredients are in there, is you want to dissolve as much as you can in the oil, as evenly as you can. As you can see, I'm doing the best I can there to get it together. That looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the meat that we had here and we're going to put the meat back in. Okay. Now the meat is in that mixture. And we're going to spread it out. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so I set the timer now for 2 minutes. And I'm going to let it cook in there. But this time I'm going to stir it. So it's 2 minutes of my time now. I can't go away on this job because I want to get all that mixture there on the surface of that meat, which adds extra flavor. It gives you a much better bounce, a much better taste. So now what I'm doing now is I keep turning it over and spreading it out for the 2 minutes until Alexa says, hey, the 2 minutes are up. And once those 2 minutes are up, I will turn off the heat and I will remove these bits of pork tenderloin. And again, I said I could do the same thing with a chicken breast. I experimented with that, and the last time I made it, it was absolutely delicious. And it's a nice way to eat it. And you don't even have to cut off the breast or anything. It's already done. Same thing with this pork loin. And when I get a pork loin, it's a large piece. So I cut it in sections, sometimes in thirds, sometimes in quarters, depending how big it is. And then I put it in a freeze-like bag, a quart bag, and I freeze them. Then when I want to make pork tenderloin, I take out one of the bags, okay? and I leave it out so it defrosts, and then I'm ready to cook it like I did now. This makes a lot of meals. Like, this is good enough for me, actually, for 2 meals, since I'm making it with my stir fry. Actually, what's left over, you could even make a gravy out of it if you wanted to. You know, you could get some cornstarch and a little water, equal amounts, mix it together, then throw it in there and mix it all up, and that would actually make a gravy. Now look, you hear that? 2 minutes are up. That was pretty fast, wasn't it? So I'm going to shut off. I'm going to shut off the burner. Alexa, quiet. And this is already done. And then all I'm going to do now is lift them up, because you don't want to overcook it, and put them back in the mixing bowl. Back in the mixing bowl. And that's all there is to it. It is done. Now, what I could do, whatever's left over here, rather than to just toss it down the drain, I could actually put it in there too, and this way I could maybe make a gravy at a later date. But basically, it is all done, and let me tell you, it's a pretty nice looking bunch of meat there.
Now I'm eating this with a stir fry that I took out of the refrigerator and heated up in the microwave. It turned out absolutely delicious. The meat couldn't have been any better. And there's even leftovers for another meal.